Welcome, Tangle friends. Today I'm joining you from our living room in this beautiful little cottage farmhouse in the area that we like to spend most of our time. There is a fireplace, Swedish oven over here, and our TV is over there. And we broke down and bought a couch, coffee table, and a TV stand because otherwise we just don't have our things here. So it's still looking pretty sparse. There's no decor, there's no pictures on the wall, but I did want to share with you a little bit about the inside of our place because so many of you have been asking about that. So today I also wanted to make note that this is a beautiful white wall in the background that reminds me of my beautiful white wall that I had in the studio in my home in Estes Park. But that I tangled, and I will not be tangling this gorgeous space because I like it as it is. It's so bright and lovely to work in. But I did want to share with you today something a little different. One of my students, subscribers, asked me if I could give some background information on that studio wall where I had often filmed my YouTubes and also my classes, my online classes. It was a studio in which I had actual in-person classes until COVID came along. And then it just became really my recording studio. But we also used it as a space for our Botangle business. We create these unique gifts that we sold in craft shows and art shows and online. Nice large table area. So today I want to tell you a little bit about how I created that, some of the details, and hopefully inspire you to go ahead and make your own mural in your home or someplace special. And I have identified a place in the house here that I'm going to ask for permission to tangle, and it is the door to the water closet in the barn. It's actually, I call it my spider toilet because a lot of spiders live in there. But I clean it up and it's beautiful, and I have little wildflowers in there, and I'm not afraid of spiders. In fact, I love them. So I guess my daughter Christy won't be using that bathroom now that I've said that. But I think it would be fun to tangle the door to it and make it a lot more inviting than it is. In the meantime, I want to show you my owl tree. I call it the owl on the wall, the owl on the wall. And the owl is kind of a special bird for us. My husband's an old birder, and I consider the owl to be his talisman. He just is in love with owls. So that's why I made it the centerpiece of this mural. And the tree is actually a real tree in Hygiene, Colorado. It's 100-some-year-old cottonwood tree that we just loved to visit when we walked around the ponds there where the tree lives. And so I consider this my largest Botangle to date. Botangle meaning nothing more than a Zentangled inspired botanical. It's kind of a name I coined. And I did sketch it quick and dirty in my nature journal, and I'll show you a picture of it here. And I used that sketch combined with my husband's photographs to do the outline of the mural on my wall. So it does stretch across two walls, the main wall, and then the branches stretch around. And I used a projector, an old-fashioned projector. I put the drawing on a transparency, and then I projected it onto the wall so that I could get that outline. Otherwise, everything else in there, the divisions and the birds, those were all done freehand. So the project, everybody asked me first off, how long did it take you to do this project? And it's a little bit hard to say, but I was working full time at the time, commuting about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes each way, and also teaching. So I didn't have a lot of time to spend working on the wall. I did, like an hour here and there in the evenings if I wasn't too tired. One time I actually fell asleep on the wall, on the floor, laying on my dog as a pillow because I was just exhausted. But I also worked, sometimes many hours on the weekend. So it took me about 4 months in total And when I was finished with my project, I looked at it and I thought, okay, it's pretty cool. It's black and white graphic, but oh, how I wanted to shade. If any of you have taken classes from me, you'll know how much I value shading in Zentangle. It just makes all the difference. It makes a doodle into an artwork. And so I knew I couldn't shade with a graphite pencil. And all the while when I was working on this, I was like, how can I shade this? How can I shade this? I was thinking of glazing it with like a watercolor glaze, but acrylic, because I used acrylic. So then it came to me, and in our botanical illustration program at the Denver Botanic Gardens, where I am a certified botanical illustrator, one of the techniques that they teach there is carbon dust drawing, painting. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to do that. Okay, so what I did was I took some graphite pencils of different hardnesses and I just sanded them down into a container, a little tin container, and I used a paintbrush to apply the shading. And I have a little video clip of that also that I'm showing you here today. I did want to give a shout out to Ben Kwok. Ben Kwok is a superior artist whose owl I was inspired by. And I, of course, changed it up with my own tangles, but I think he did similar birds too. These little fat birds that I was putting in the trees, I pretty much copied from him. So Ben, thank you. In this video, I'm going to give you some idea of how I painted this wall. And also, I've named some of the tangles, most of the tangles that are in there. And I have to say, I probably would have done it a little bit differently today than I did, because now I have a whole different repertoire of tangles. All right, so let's get started.